Clear prop. Evening guys and girls, welcome back. Right, just a quick time and temperature check. It is 7:05 in the evening. It's Saturday the 10th of August and it is 24 degrees and beautiful. So I'm going flying. Nowhere in particular planned, just a local bumble or bimble, whatever you want to call it. A couple of local sites that I've not shown you before that I want to show you. And on the way around, a bit of a channel update, what I've been up to, a couple of things that I've got planned, and also I want to share a story with you, and that story is the highlight of my trip to this year's Popham Microlight trade show. And spoiler alert, it's nothing to do with microlights. So stick around and I'll speak to you in a bit.
Entered runway 10.
Right, all pre-flight checks completed. I've not put all of those in the video. I have made sure for this flight that all my zips are closed. On my last flight, somebody did make a comment. In fact, I had a couple of comments about my zips, zips being open. There was one comment in particular from Parafly, something or other, brilliant comment. It said there was more open zips on that video than there was in an Amsterdam nightclub. Brilliant comment, made me chuckle. Right, let's go. Right, just coming up to Carsington Water, which is a landmark I've featured loads on the channel. You've seen it loads on the channel, I've flown over it loads. But I have never seen it as dry as this. Wow. I've never seen it looking like that before. Right, I'm just coming up to something which I don't think I've actually spoken to about on the channel, or something I don't think I've shown you, and it's a place called Minning Low, and it is a circular crop of trees. It has been on the channel before. If you follow the channel, last year me and Giles did a summer solstice flight, and we picked this location because it has got some mystical qualities to it. Anyway, I can't remember all the details off the top of my head, so I will hand you over to voiceover chap and he'll tell you all about it.
Minning Low is a large hill in the Peak District National Park. It's got a circular clump of trees at the top, which marks the site of a prehistoric Neolithic burial site. The chambered tomb was excavated in 1843 and found to contain 2 complete chambered tombs, and it's described as Derbyshire's most impressive surviving burial chamber. Although there's no public right of way, the landowner has graciously granted concessionary access so you can visit the site on foot. Personally though, I prefer the bird's eye view.
Right, so I'm just flying over another particular land feature that the Peak District is littered with, and that is it's a quarry. I'm not sure what this one's called. I'll put the name up on the screen when I've done a bit of research. What I've always wondered, when quarries have water in them, always seems to be a really clear, aqua, deep blue colour, and I need somebody to tell me why that is. What is it about the water in the quarry that makes it so, it's that really blue lagoon type colour? Stick me a comment and let me know. Right, I've just spotted something on the horizon which could make an interesting addition to this video, which I wasn't planning on adding. I've just spotted a couple of hot air balloons. Now, I see quite a lot of hot air balloons flying around the Peak District, especially at this time of day, this time of year when the weather's nice. And I've often wanted to sort of go and say hello, but I've always been a bit worried about doing it because the last thing you want to do is annoy somebody. And if people are out for a quiet, silent float around the sky, the last thing they're going to want is a noisy two-stroke engine buzzing around like an annoying possum. So I've always held clear. However, last week I was at the Flexwing 30th birthday bash. That was a brilliant bash, by the way. Well done, Flexwing. And I was speaking to a chap called Damien, who is a balloon operator, pilot. I'm not sure what the correct term is. Flies balloons. And I asked him, and I says, what's the sketch? If I see a balloon and I want to get a bit closer, say hello, what's the sketch? Where do I stand? And he said that balloons have a specific frequency that they operate on. If you shout them up, just let them know what you want to do, and the chances are they'll be absolutely mad for it, particularly if they're doing a pleasure flight, which most of them are. The passengers on there absolutely love it if they get to see an aircraft flying past them at the same height or even below them, because that's the sort of perspective you never normally get to see of another aircraft. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and raise these two guys on the radio, see if I can make contact with them, and if I can make contact, go and say hello. Golf Charlie Mike Papa X-ray Flexwing in the area of Bakewell. Any station on frequency? So I've not been able to make contact, so I'm certainly not going to get too close to them. Just above the balloons, I've just spotted a paraglider as well. I'll tell you, we're all at it tonight. Anyway, after that unexpected diversion, let me give you a bit of a channel update, what I've been up to. Firstly, done a bit of maintenance. I've fitted some Trail Tech gauges to the aircraft. I've got rid of the moto monitor. You'll have heard me moaning in previous videos about the moto monitor and it being unreliable. When it works, it was brilliant. Problem was, most of the time it didn't. So I've got rid of that, and I've got some Trail Tech gauges. I'll show you some pictures. If you keep on seeing me looking down at me bollocks, I'm not looking at me bollocks, I'm looking at my Trail Tech gauges. That's just where they are. Right, what else have I been up to? Just a bit of by way of an update. As I mentioned, I went to the Flexlight 30th birthday bash the other week. I did take the camera, did do a little bit of filming, but I've not put it out on video. But that was a really nice night. Spent the night at the Aviator Hotel. Sywell is a really nice place to visit, especially if you're going to stop over. The hotel is fantastic. It's got a real 20s vibe about it. Right, so what else have I got planned? Right, well, tomorrow I've got a bit of a long trip planned, flight down to Northampton. And I'm going to be ticking a box. If you want to be taken reasonably seriously as an aviator YouTuber, it's almost like a rite of passage. At some point, you've got to fly to McDonald's. I'm following in the footsteps of Giant, but it's about time I got round to doing it. So tomorrow, I'm flying to Mackey's for my dinner, and I'm going to video that. Next Saturday, there is a flying at an airfield called Headon. Don't know how to pronounce it. Weather permitting, I'm going to fly over there for a bacon butty, and I'll video that. And this engine is coming up to 100 hours, and it needs a bit of a service, a proper good service. And by that I mean it's going to have carb rebuild, reed valve pedals replaced, new drive belt, new air filter, and a top end rebuild, so new piston and rings. And I've not done that before, so that's going to be a voyage of discovery, but I'll video that as well. So lots of things coming up. If you want to make sure that you don't miss them, then you know what to do. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit that bell and all that other YouTube stuff. Right, I just want to share a quick story with you, and this is the story of the highlight of my trip to the Popham Microlight trade show this year, which I did go to. I did take the cameras, I did do a little bit of recording, but I'm not putting it out on video. Giles did a really good video. I'll put a link to his video up on the screen. How do I get into this story? Right. I struggle sometimes with something called imposter syndrome, which is kind of hard to describe if you've never experienced it. But basically, I look at other YouTubers, you know, the likes of Lou Dixon and Tucker Gott and Rebuild Rescues, Jimmy's World, the flying reporter in this country, people like Terry Kent on his Shortfield channel. They've got tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of subscribers, and they're flying around in some really, really fancy aeroplanes, and they're making videos which are really, really well edited and really, really plush. And I think to myself, who am I? What must people think of me? This upstart who's been flying for 5 minutes, can barely edit a video together, and I'm flying around in a deck chair with a lawnmower engine strapped to my back underneath a kite, and I'm making videos. Who is this person to show me how to fly, or to tell me how to rebuild a carburettor, or how to do an overhead landing, or whatever it is? Who am I to do that? And I worry about that. But the thing that spurs me on to make videos, and making videos is hard work. It takes time to do the recording, it takes me ages to do the editing, but I'm not very good at it. And it's if you've got 3 days off, you don't necessarily want to spend 2 days editing a video. But what spurs me on is seeing the subscriber count go up, which it is steadily. But in particular, the comments that I get from you guys that are watching. And I've had quite a few comments from people that have said that they've taken up flying as a result of watching my videos. And I'll put some of those comments, I'll flash them up on the screen if I can dig them out. And I can't tell you how humbling that is, and it spurs you on to making videos. But one particular person, and this again, this is a highlight of my trip to Popham. It was nothing to do with microlights. As me and Mrs. B were walking back to the car park, a bloke came up to us and introduced himself. His name was Tony, and he told me a story which took me aback. I've spoken with, I'm not going to give Tony's surname, I'll give him some anonymity. But I have spoken with him, but he said he's quite happy to talk about this. Tony told me that a couple of years ago he was diagnosed with bowel cancer, and he was in a bad way. And he had to have surgery and all the chemo and all the other nastiness that goes with cancer. Tony's quite a positive chap, so he told me as he was lying in his bed planning his recovery and thinking about what he was going to do to aid his recovery, he decided that he was going to go walking. And bearing in mind where he lives, he was wondering where he could go walking, where would be nice places to visit. And he did a bit of a search on the Derwent Reservoir, the Lady Bow Reservoir, and all around that particular area. And he did a bit of a search, and what should pop up but my YouTube video where I did my Dam Busters run. And this is the beauty of YouTube. He had absolutely no intention, no inclination whatsoever to learn about flying. He'd never even thought about it, never even crossed his mind. But he started watching my video and he decided, that's interesting, how do I get into that? And he watched some more of my videos, convinced himself it was safe, And at the time that I saw Tony at Popham, he was about 6 hours into his NPPL training. And he shook my hand and he said that he made the trip to Popham hoping that I would be there so he could come and say thank you. In fact, this afternoon I bumped into Tony again, and he's now 20 odd hours in, and not far from going solo. And I have to say, that absolutely blew me away. And on the rest of the way down to Cornwall, I kept on saying to Mrs. B, wow, what a story. So anyway, Tony, if you're watching, hope you're well, and I hope the training's going on. And thanks ever so much for giving me that that push that I need to carry on making videos. Anyway, enough gushing. Let's crack on with it. Right, the next feature that I'm flying over, and that is something called the Tissington Trail. Now, I'm not sure if you'll be able to make it out on camera. I don't want to get too low, but you might just be able to see down below a bit of a trail, and that is the Tissington Trail. The Tissington Trail is an old railway line, used to run from Buxton to Ashbourne, and it's been reopened as a cycle route or a walking route. And it's a really nice place to walk up and down or cycle up and down. I've cycled up and down this I don't know how many times when I've tried to keep fit. Right, I'm just heading back to the airfield. I've had a fantastic flight. The weather conditions now are so smooth, it's lovely. I don't know if my batteries are going to last though until I get back to the airfield, because I spent a bit longer in the air with messing around with those hot air balloons, which I wasn't planning on doing, but I think you'll agree it was well worth it. Something I've always wanted to do. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, again, you know what to do. And I will see you on my next adventure, which I'm hoping will be tomorrow for a McDonald's. Right, Darley Moor is in sight. Let's go. There we go, down safely, not a bad landing, even if I do say so myself. Hope you've enjoyed it. Catch you on the next one, which I'm hoping will be tomorrow for Mackies.